Hi, Monday Mindset, May 26th, 2025. Although, to be honest, I am recording this the next day. I wanted to just quickly share something that I've talked about before, but I heard it stated in a different way today, and I thought, oh, this would be good to share. And it's a simple, intentional thought and intention of the day, which is today I have total control over my thoughts and feelings. And that's a big thing. That's a big sort of claim to make to yourself. And I think what's great about it is when you start to get a negative thought coming in, which will inevitably happen for many of us, is no, you can decide that that thought needs to be pushed away. And this all sounds a little bit woohoo to people that don't understand that all of our behaviors come from those thoughts and feelings. And yes, a lot of things are coming at us from a lot of different directions at a lot of different times, and we could say, I don't know, I can't control this, but the reality is we can control a lot of it. The ones that we can't control, we just have to identify as fast as possible and push them away. What do I mean by that? Well, we know that the media, social media and regular media, is designed to capture our attention. And generally, capturing our attention comes from a lot of negative, a lot of negative headlines or salacious headlines. And so that is something that it will naturally grab our attention. And that's what they're designed to do. They're not designed for you to say, oh, that sounds nice. They're designed for you to stop, click. That's how they make their money, or stop and scroll. The longer you stay on their sites, the longer you stay on their social media posts, the more money that they make in various different ways. So most of the time, that stuff is really negative. If you really want positive stuff in that realm, you have to seek it out yourself. But what's thrown at you is generally a little more salacious, a little more like negative, or oh, like what is that gossipy thing going on? And we're all naturally drawn to that. Let's get honest here. So one way to control your thoughts and your feelings is to make a decision, make a choice not to allow that outside influence into your day-to-day hemisphere. Is it easy? It is not easy, but this is a decision and a choice that you can make on a daily basis. So that's one way. Another way is surrounding yourself with really positive people, surrounding yourself with people that want to help you go from where you are to where you want to be, that when you have an idea or you have an excitement about something, they are there to say, go get it, or encourage you, or say, yeah, that sounds really great, versus being around somebody that pokes holes in your desire or your goal or your target or your new way of doing things, or someone that says, oh yeah, you say you're going to do that, but I know you're not going to follow through. That's not the person that you want to stay with. You want to stay with somebody that says, that's really great. I think that you wanting to do something like this is wonderful. Is there any way I can help you? Or is there any words of encouragement that you need? Or somebody that simply just says, that's great, and I know you'll do it. So that's another way to control the thoughts and feelings, is surround yourself with people that want you to be the best that you can be, not people that are threatened by you wanting to be the best you could be. I'll tell you a really quick story. I used to be a behavioral modification coach at Nutrisystem. Years ago, Nutrisystem used to have centers where the clients would come in, they would get their food, they would weigh in, and then talk to their nutrition person who would set their food up for the next week. And then they had the option to come into a class, and the class had different topics every week. And one of the and I was the person that taught these, and I had standing room only, thank you very much, in my classes. I loved it. It was one of my favorite jobs I ever had in my life. So besides helping you guys. So one of the things that a lot of the people would talk about was that as they were losing their weight, and as they were becoming healthier, and as they were becoming more determined and more disciplined, the people closest to them were sabotaging them. And some of those people didn't realize they were sabotaging them, some of them did. And so we came up with strategies of a way for them to ignore that and realize that that person, as close as they were to them, was a little threatened by their growth. Have any of you ever experienced that? I've been around people that you're doing really well and they get a little threatened and they would like you to stay in your lane, stay where you are. So some of those people are very close to you, and it's not my job to tell you to eliminate them from your life. Maybe lower the amount of time you're with them. If that's not possible, then perhaps then you can do, even if it is possible to eliminate them a little bit, you can always say to them, I'm on this journey. Share the journey with them. Say, you don't have to be on the journey with me, but I would really like your support in this journey, and really putting it out on the table. Some of them might not realize that they're secretly sabotaging you because they have their own fears, their own perspective coming into play. So those are like 3 quick tips that you can do to really do the thing, which is and doing this first thing in the morning is really important. Oh, that's another thing I'm going to share with you, because our brains are very the neuroplasticity in the brain is it's much more receptive to this kind of stuff than later in the day, when the day and the stress and everything is stacking on us. So in the morning, I have talked about doing that deep breathing. If during that deep breathing you're saying to yourself, today I have control over my thoughts and feelings, and you start to reprogram your mind to think like that, little by little, and especially when you do it in the morning, you will start to see that type of thought process imprint in your brain. The more we recognize that we have the choices, we have the decisions, they are not easy. To live life like this is not what most people want to do, because it's a little uncomfortable and it's a little tiring. When you're really trying to focus on growing, it tires you out. But know that that's a good fatigue versus the fatigue of being like a sloth and just laying around doing nothing or watching television all day. That gets you tired too. So which tired do you want to choose? You want to choose the tired, and the not being in shape, that's another fatigue, but that's another kind of video. But for today, if I could get you to really think about being intentional with your thought first thing in the morning, I gave you some reasons why it matters and what you can do about it. You're going to see some really great fallout in a good way from that, because all of our thoughts and feelings lead to our behaviors. So if we can corral our thoughts to be predominantly in that I have the choice, I can handle it. If stress comes my way, it's a challenge, not an obstacle. If I look at stress as, okay, something's going on here. Sometimes stress gives you energy. I got to get this done, versus this stressful situation and it's like, oh my God, poor me. It's your choice to look at it each time, every time, that way. So that's my message for you today. And let me know in the comments if this resonates with you. Let me know if you'll try it and track it, and let me know, like, you know what, this does make a difference. So make this part of that morning routine that we've talked about, and have a wonderful day. Bye.